everyone is present here. Now, if you'd stand for a silent prayer and pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you were all sent an agenda. I would look for a motion to approve that agenda. Motion by Piaski, second by Wadle. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. You were sent the minutes for the June 17th, 2025 regular meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Okay, seeing none, I would look for a motion to approve. Motion by Peterson, second by Urban. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and that passes as well. No one signed up for public comments. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move right into new business with reports. First will be our county administrator's monthly report with our administrator, Megan Kapp.
Thank you. I will just start out with a brief economic development update since we just had our Waushara County Economic Development Corporation meeting this afternoon over in Plainfield. We had John Bartz from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation join us to share some of the supports that they're able to offer, some technical assistance as well as financial assistance offerings. Discussed some of those ideas with the group. We're currently, as a corporation, discussing database for vacant commercial properties as well as real estate for housing development, looking at how we can work together as a county. So not necessarily just individual municipalities, but understanding that, perhaps a business coming to Wautoma is also advantageous for folks in Wild Rose. And while one might have housing, but another might have commercial properties, just looking for ideas on how we can work together to work on some economic development efforts. So looking to get together a database like we referenced with talking with John from Wisconsin EDC today. They already have a free tool available called Locate in Wisconsin that is essentially a database for properties like this in Wisconsin. So I'm going to work with one of our local realtors to start gathering some information, test it out to see if we can have any success with that. And then we'll try to develop a system for how we can inventory those properties and keep them up to date. We may also look at doing it in-house with our county GIS to see if we can get some interactive mapping on where some of those vacant properties are. This past month, Ruth and I also met with John from Wisconsin EDC on hub zone designation. So Waushara County is eligible for this hub zone designation. It's a federal program and it provides contracting assistance to small businesses in economically distressed areas. So we were identified as an area that is eligible for this designation. So we will be applying for that. What it does is essentially gives, if we are designated as a hub zone county, businesses within our county can apply for the hub zone or the hub designation. And then it kind of gives them a leg up for government contracts and points them towards those. So working on that application with them right now. And the corporation is also moving forward with the community economic analysis for rural Wisconsin communities in partnership with UW Extension. We are going to have 4 sessions meeting with them September through December this fall. Essentially what we're trying to do is develop a strategic plan and strategic initiatives for the Economic Development Corporation. We have a lot of different community key stakeholders that'll be joining in that effort to identify challenges and develop some strategies for economic development in our county. So more to come on that. The Courthouse property has been wrapped up and transferred over to the YMCA. I attended the groundbreaking ceremony. Supervisor King was there, Chair Jarvis, along with other county reps. So it was a really rainy, wet event, but it was a very great event for a huge asset that's coming to our community. So happy to see that moving forward. Next up will be the demolition of the old nursing home on Wapaka Street. We did receive Economic Development Corporation grant for site assessment for that property, so a portion of that will be covered there. We're also working with the City of Wautoma on a RFP for once that property is once that building is down and cleaned up, working on an RFP for potential housing development for that site. We are working on 2026 budget preparations. Departments are currently working on entering their budget proposals. Sarah Lucchini and I have met with about half of the departments at this point for what I'm calling pre-budget meetings, having some discussions. Obviously, this is my first time preparing the annual budget, so trying to make sure that I have a sound understanding on departmental needs, their different funding sources, and how those all tie out with different programs. So looking into where we can gain efficiencies, staffing structures, any contracts and things that need to be looked into, so that we're having those conversations early enough in the budget process. On the personnel front, we did have a new health coach from ThedaCare that started this past month. Our wellness program has really come a long way as a county, and so we're happy to be able to have a health coach on site again, available for employees. Overall, we've seen some positive movement with recruitment. I mentioned last month EMS recently promoted several to paramedics through their in-house paramedic program that they had. Human Services has been able to maintain steady with staffing, and Public Health has had some recent success. They were down 4 out of 11 positions, and they've had some success with hiring, so that's been really positive. On the downside, we do have a couple areas continuing to struggle. Right now, our jail is really struggling staffing wise, which is one of the things that just seems to go in waves. As well as our highway department is still down, I believe, 8 at this point, and so they are really struggling over there as far as filling those positions. So myself, along with our HR director, Deb Denker, and Highway Commissioner Dean Anderson, we are going to meet Thursday to discuss staffing for highway. Excuse me. So this past month, in June, I attended a mass casualty incident training over near Coloma. So our emergency management director, Alan Lucchini, along with Wautoma police officer Leif Hendrickson, coordinated this event. It was a mass casualty incident response training held over at Operating Engineers. So thank you to them for hosting and their hospitality. I'm sure many of you have been out to their site, but it was a great facility out there, and it was just great to see so many different agencies interacting. We had our Sheriff's Department, 911 dispatch, emergency management, EMS, Human Services, along with other local partners working together. So it was a really, really great event. Other events coming up. Next Friday is Cops Day at Culver's in town here. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 5th from 4 to 7 at the fairgrounds. Also, the Sheriff's Department is going to be hosting another Stuff the Squad event for back to school supplies for our area schools within the county. So that is August 11th through 13th. They'll have a squad out here in their parking lot to collect school supplies. And then in June, we did have another successful blood drive here held at the courthouse, hosted by our health department and Red Cross. We've had a couple of successful events there, and so we'll continue that partnership with Red Cross and have another event sometime this fall. That's everything.
Very good. Another very busy month. Does anybody have any questions for Megan? Okay, very good. Thank you. Next, we'll have our quarterly strategic planning update with our community development educator, Tim Baroud.
Here. All right. Sharing a couple pictures there that I actually remember to stamp once in a while when I'm working with teams. So Barry, go ahead and hop to the next page. As far as the update goes, here are the number of department workshops completed by date so far. We have completed 23 strategic planning workshops amongst all departments. Each workshop's about 3 hours long. And there are 22 more already scheduled between now and August 31st. So we are making fantastic progress in getting departments going and working on their plans. Next slide. Feedback so far from all of those teams who've been working in strategic planning. Every time I do particularly the first workshop with departments, I ask them what went well, what do you have for suggestions for future workshops. This is kind of a grab of the overall categories under which teams and team members have felt positive, and also the suggestions to go with. Next slide. So in our first workshop, what we do is we start with team norms, some operating principles, because these teams are going to be working together for the next 4, 6, 7 months, working on the strategic plan. And when they do that, it's important to really have an understanding for everybody on that team as to what will help them work together. So on the far left there, you see that picture with all those words on it, the blue marker. Those are when we do an activity where everybody puts down what they need in a team setting to feel like they're successful, engaged, and ready to be a team player. And everybody just independently comes up with their words. We do that, and then we create some operating principles out of that. It's a really quick, like 15-minute process. I know sometimes consultants and stuff, will spend half a day doing stuff like that, but in my opinion, there's no need for that. We know as a team what we need, and we make it happen. The second thing we do in our first workshop is connecting to the mission and vision of the county. As you all know, the county has a mission, vision, and values that was adopted back in February. There are some departments that have their own mission and vision, and that's okay. But we want each department to really consider and call out how they fit into the mission and vision of Waushara County, our current mission and vision. And so we do that for every department. That'll be in their strategic plan as we go forward as well. And then finally, prioritizing. You can see Tanya there in that picture, putting her stickies up on the Post-it paper, prioritizing what she felt were the needs for that workshop there. And the prioritizing comes from that SWOT data. So everybody has a chance to look through that SWOT data that came through. They look for themes, they put each theme on a Post-it note, and we tack them to the Post-it paper and then categorize them into priority areas. Next slide. So right now, the red circle there is kind of where we are in general with departments. There's a few departments that have to have their first meeting yet. Some of those are scheduled already for August and such. But for the most part, we have a few departments that are starting to work on goal setting, other departments that are still working on the root cause of the issues identified. And to make a long story short, we're really trying hard to get as many departments done with their initial plan as we can before the end of the year, before December 31st. So I think that's my last slide. Is that true? It is. Any questions from anyone? I'm happy to answer the procedure we're going through and whatever questions you have.
Just comment, it's good to see it's working in our individual departments, and I think it's it looks from that feedback that it's positive, so that's good to see.
Thank you. All right, thanks everybody.
Anybody else? Thank you, Tim. Okay, with that then, we'll move into our part B, consideration possible action on the following resolutions and ordinances. Resolution number 17-07-25. A resolution for acknowledgement of Nancy Miller's service to and retirement from Waushara County. And I'd like to just take a minute to read this, please. Whereas the County of Waushara wishes to take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Nancy Miller for 25 years of service and dedication to Waushara County in her career as an EMS secretary, paramedic, correctional officer, and communications officer. And whereas acknowledgement is given to Nancy Miller for her conscientious and dedicated service to the citizens of Waushara County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that one, the County Board of Supervisors does hereby commend Nancy for her many years of conscientious and dedicated service. And two, that good wishes go to Nancy for a long and enjoyable retirement filled with contentment and good health. So with that, I would look for a motion to approve. A motion by Wakely, is there a second? Second by Urban. Is there any discussion? All right, go ahead and vote on that then. Okay. And that resolution passes. All right, resolution number 18-07-25. Resolution reorganizing the Sheriff's Department. Is there a motion for this resolution? Motion by Kirschner, is there a second? Second by Peterson. Is there any discussion?
Let's explain it. Or
Yep.
whoever, whoever.
Would you explain?
Sure. So, the sheriff and Megan and I have been talking about, the needs of the sheriff's department. And, we're having a lot more, transports that we're having to do from other facilities, either bringing somebody from a hospital for a meeting or bringing somebody from another prison for a meeting. Or somebody gets picked up on one of our warrants and is housed in another, jail and they have to get picked up. And so we have in the past relied on reserve deputies to do a lot of that, and those are unsworn people, so they do not carry guns. Some of the inmates that we are bringing in, we have to then take people off the road to transport them because of safety risks. Sometimes it takes more than one person to bring a person. And so in looking at what the staffing is, it would be better for us to be able to like schedule these transports, it depends on how the court calendar goes, with one person and do it on Monday through Friday. And if we have to like house somebody in our jail overnight, we can do that. And then when we don't have transports, then that person could help out on the road. So it's creating that position, but it's using existing budget funds to do that. We just won't be filling some of our other positions that are currently vacant. And so it's just kind of rearranging the dollars that we have.
Okay.
Not adding
It's
more staff.
It's actually going to be eliminating some part-time staff from the organizational chart. And it will not be adding any additional full-time staff.
And it comes at a savings of about 190 some thousand, so. Okay. Any other questions? Discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and vote on that then. Okay, and that resolution passes. Resolution number 19-07-25. A resolution delegating the authority to enter into settlement agreements with opioid defendants to the designated corporation council. Is there a motion? Motion by Piaski, second by King. And is there any discussion?
So the reason that I'm bringing this resolution forward is in the past, we've brought a resolution every time there's a settlement. We've settled with all of the big players. We're now in the process of settling with lots of little ones. So right now we have two settlements. One is for one individual. The next settlement is coming up as like 6 different defendants, but they're rapidly approaching now. And so in order to meet all of the timelines, what our attorneys are suggesting is that you allow me to be able to sign all of the paperwork without having another resolution brought to the court, so that we don't miss any of the timelines and we can access all of that money.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions or any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. And the resolution passes. Ordinance number 698, an ordinance amending Waushara County zoning maps pursuant to the authority granted in chapter 58 Waushara County Code Zone Change. Vern Wagner, current owner, and Nico Hines, the town of Marion. Is there a motion? Motion by Wadle, second by King. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. And that ordinance passes. Ordinance number 699, an ordinance temporarily prohibiting boats on the waters of the Willow Creek at County Road D during bridge replacement. Is there a motion for this? Motion by Kirschner, is there a second? Second by Piaski. Is there any discussion?
So apparently, in order to tell people that they can't boat in a construction zone, we have to have an ordinance. So we will be replacing that bridge, so it will just be a short period of time during that bridge replacement where it won't, no boat traffic will be allowed so that nobody gets hurt.
Okay, any other questions? All right, go ahead and vote on that. Okay, and that ordinance passes as well. With that, we'll move into appointments. First is Department of Human Services Board. Carol Ann Yeska, her term will be July 22nd, 2025 through July 22nd, 2028. And James Jarvis, his term will be current through March 31st of 2028. Is there a motion? Motion by Wadel, second by Urban. Is there any discussion? Okay, go ahead and vote. And those appointments are approved. Land Information Council, Esme Pedagine, Washera County GIS Assistant. Is there a motion? Motion by Johnson. Is there a second? Second, by Bossard. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, go ahead and vote. Okay, and that appointment passes as well. The Prevention Council, John Jarvis, Watoma, current through April of 2026. Is there a motion? Motion by Urban. Come on. Is there a second? Second by Johnson. All right, any discussion? Maybe better not ask. Yeah, maybe. Okay, hearing no discussion, go ahead and vote. Okay, and that appointment passes as well. All right, with that, we're down to proclamations, and we have just one a proclamation tonight, but it's pretty special. I'd like to just read this if I could. Celebrating the 110th birthday of Evelyn Houghton, Washera County, Wisconsin. Whereas Evelyn Houghton, a resident of Washera County and a beloved member of the Heartland House community, will celebrate her remarkable 110th birthday on July 24th, 2025. And whereas Evelyn is believed to be the oldest living resident in Washera County, and she continues to inspire all who meet her with her grace, intellect, and cheerful spirit. And whereas Evelyn is a Harvard graduate who pursued advanced graduate studies and became a certified hospital teacher, dedicating her life to education and service. And whereas despite the loss of her eyesight, Evelyn continues to engage with the world around her, enjoying books on tape, coffee flavored ice cream, and taking strolls through the halls of Heartland House. And whereas Evelyn actively participates in community life, taking part in spelling and trivia activities and rarely missing the opportunity to vote, exemplifying civic engagement and resilience. And whereas Evelyn is known for her sharp mind, elegant demeanor, and kind heart, and serves as a treasured example of dignity, strength, and longevity in our community. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Washera County Board of Supervisors does hereby honor and celebrate Evelyn Houghton on the occasion of her 110th birthday and extends heartfelt congratulations and best wishes for her continued health and happiness. So with that, is there a motion? Motion by King. Is there a second? Second by Peterson. Is there any discussion? And that's a tremendous thing. Go ahead and vote on that then. Okay, very good. That proclamation passes. unanimously. All right, with that, we're down to board suggestions for future agenda items. I'll just bring forward at this time that next month I will be bringing a person for this, Tom Mosling is gonna take the position to fulfill the term for supervisor in District 1. And he'll be, I'll be bringing it to the board next month. And if you pass his nomination for that, then he'll be sworn in at that time. So, but with that, is there any other future agenda items anyone would like to bring forth? Okay, then I would look for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Johnson. Second by Irvin. All right, we're adjourned.